From the Southwest Network of Radio Nigeria, the time is 2 o'clock.
Good afternoon and welcome to the midweek edition of The World Today. It is a Southwest Network program of Radio Nigeria, Ibadan zonal station comprising news and feature. In the lineup, federal government cuts textbook assessment fees. IBEDC debunks update of mandatory prepaid meters vending. On the foreign scene, U.S. plans to announce nuclear agreement with Saudi Arabia. Venezuela's ousted leader set to appear in U.S. court. Heart of the matter is on restoring public trust in governance in Nigeria, while the feature is on hammer ball jumping. My name is Olubukola Enimola, and with me on the news is
Stephen Agbaje. Good afternoon. You can also listen to us on live stream www.radionigeriaibadan.gov.ng or reach us on X, Instagram and Facebook with the handle at PFM935 Ibadan. Ensure you keep warm during the cold season. Now the news in detail. The Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council has reduced the cost of textbook assessment and ranking, directing that publishers who paid the previous higher assessment fees be refunded in a move aimed at easing the financial burden on stakeholders ahead of the implementation of the federal government's national textbook ranking system. The decision was announced in a statement signed by the Executive Secretary of the Council, Professor Salisu Shehu, in Abuja. According to the statement, the assessment fee has been reduced from 2,000 naira to 1,500 naira per page, while the ranking fee had been reviewed downward from 1 million naira to 750,000 naira per textbook title. Professor Shehu said the revised charges take immediate effect and are intended to support publishers and authors participating in the new textbook evaluation process. He also announced that publishers who had already paid the former assessment fee of 2,000 naira per page would receive refunds of the excess payment.
The Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, IBEDC, has debunked the viral information about mandatory prepaid meters update and vending, requiring customers to purchase electricity token with a specified period. IBEDC-led Media Relations Officer Mr. Daniel Adubo debunked the claims in an interview with Radio Nigeria Ibadan, your state. Mr. Adubo urged customers to disregard the information, noting that no prepaid meter would stop working because electricity token had not been purchased within the time frame stipulated by the unverified information.
There is no mandatory prepaid meter update exercise, and prepaid meters will not stop functioning solely because electricity tokens have not been purchased, whether before 25th of July or 31st of July. We want to assure our customers that they do not need to undertake any mandatory prepaid meter updates.
Mr. Adubo advised customers to always contact IBEDC through its verified customer service channels for factual information on any issue.
Many people are living with neurological disorders that affect their quality of lives across the country. Sadly, access to brain healthcare specialists remains limited due to some reasons ranging from poverty, low awareness, inadequate facilities, to death of specialists known as neurologists. As the world marks this year's World Brain Day with the theme Brain Health, Access for All, correspondent Blessing Adesanya examines the importance of prioritizing brain health and the challenges Nigerians face in accessing neurological care.
The brain is often described as the body's control center. It regulates movement, memory, speech, emotions, learning, breathing, and virtually every activities that keeps human beings alive. Yet, despite its importance, many Nigerians pay little attention to brain health until they develop serious conditions such as stroke, epilepsy, dementia, or traumatic brain injury. According to the World Federation of Neurology, more than 3.4 billion people worldwide are living with neurological disorders. Despite remarkable advances in medicine, millions of people still lack access to timely diagnosis, treatment, rehabilitation, and specialist care. In Ibadan, many residents say while they recognize the importance of the brain, access to specialist neurological care is limited due to inadequate facilities and the high cost of treatment.
On checking brains, how many Nigerians get time to check brain? For this time, now make we chop, make we eat.
We don't need to do a regular brain scan like doing MRI if doctor does not require it.
A lot of people just ignore going to the hospital in general, like concerning your health issues. They take it with soft hand.
Speaking on this year's theme, Brain Health, Access for All, a consultant, neurologist, and founder of Brain Center Ibadan, Dr. Temitope Farombi, said every individual deserves quality brain health care regardless of where they live or their financial status.
Irrespective of your age, your social status, one should be able to have access to quality education, quality health care, all this that helps to optimize brain health.
Dr. Farumbi advised Nigerians to protect their brains by controlling blood pressure, diabetes, and cholesterol, exercising regularly, getting adequate sleep, and seeking prompt medical attention whenever unusual neurological symptoms develop. A psychologist and lecturer in social psychology at the Polytechnic Ibadan, Mr. Abiola Ayetoso, noted that brain health extended beyond preventing stroke or epilepsy. According to him, emotional and psychological well-being also play a vital role in maintaining a healthy brain. Mr. Ayetoso encouraged Nigerians to maintain strong social relationships, engage in mentally stimulating activities such as reading, as well as getting adequate rest to promote healthy brain function.
If you are in any organization, what is expected is that you continue to engage your brain. When you engage your brain, the more active your brain becomes. So, and when your brain is active, definitely it will enhance your mental performance.
The experts submitted that improving health involved not only individuals but the entire society. They therefore urge all tiers of government to strengthen primary health care services, expand access to affordable diagnostic facilities such as CT and MRI scans, train more neurologists and mental health professionals, and ensure the availability of essential medicine. World Brain Day is observed every 22nd of July to promote awareness of neurological disorders and encourage better access to brain health care worldwide. This year's theme is Brain Health, Access for All. From Ibadan, Blessing Adesanya, reporting for Radio Nigeria.
The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, and the National Council on Climate Change have agreed to deepen collaboration with climate services, climate data management, and national climate resilience initiatives through the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding. The Director General and Chief Executive Officer of NIMET, Professor Charles Anosike, stated this during a visit to the Director General of the NCCC, Senyuye Majekodomi. In a statement by the agency, Professor Anosike stressed the need for closer collaboration between both institutions on co-developing climate projections, strengthening early warning systems, standardizing climate data, and undertaking joint research to support evidence-based climate policies and informed decision-making. According to the statement, the enhanced collaboration would provide policymakers with localized, science-based information needed to implement effective climate adaptation and mitigate strategies while improving the downscaling of global climate projections into practical advisories for communities and climate-sensitive sectors.
Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has announced 2 billion naira intervention to revive and promote the indigenous textile industry in Nigeria. Senator Tinubu made the declaration during a maiden visit to a Kwete weaving village in Uka East local government area of Abia State. Senator Tinubu reiterated the need for Nigerians to patronize locally made textiles, saying greater support for indigenous products will preserve the nation's cultural heritage while boosting economic opportunities for local weavers and their communities. In his address, the Abia State Governor, Mr. Alex Otte, expressed his administration's confidence in the immense potential of local textile industry in the state, describing indigenous fabric in the state as unmatched. The governor also commended President Bola Tinubu for implementing economic reforms, particularly the removal of fuel subsidies and the unification of the foreign exchange market. The wife of the governor commended Senator Tinubu for the renewed hope initiatives, empowerment programs for women, youths and vulnerable groups.
Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Mr. Olayemi Cardoso, has attributed the apparent scarcity of 100 naira and 200 naira notes to the increasing adoption of digital payment channels and the declining purchasing power of the lower denomination currency. Speaking with the Monetary Policy Committee meeting in Abuja, Mr. Cardoso dismissed concerns that affected notes had been withdrawn from circulation, stressing that they remain legal tender and should continue to be accepted for transactions across the country. He said the CBN had not announced the withdrawal of any naira denomination and urged Nigerians not to reject the lower value notes.
Ogun State House of Assembly has passed a resolution urging the state government to reconstruct the Aru Bridge, popularly known as Gada Aru, in Abeokuta to enhance public safety, aid traffic decongestion and stimulate socio-economic development within the state capital and beyond. The resolution followed an extensive debate on the motion on urgent call on the state government to reconstruct the bridge, sponsored by lawmaker representing Abeokuta North constituency, Dr. Babatunde Tella. Dr. Tella explained that reconstructing the bridge would provide an alternative route for commuters, reduce pressure on existing road networks, open up new economic opportunities and support urban development as the fourth major bridge serving the state capital. In his contribution, former Speaker Mr. Olakunle Oluomo noted that the reconstruction of the bridge would significantly ease vehicular congestion, particularly during peak traffic periods. Consequently, the Speaker, Mr. Oludaisi Elemide, directed the clerk to forward a copy of the House resolution to the State Governor for necessary action.
And still in Ogun State, House of Assembly has passed some bills after scaling through all the readings on the floor of the House. The bills include law to establish vehicle inspection services and for connected purposes, establishment of the State Judicial Institute Law, and a bill seeking to amend the State Rural Access Road Agency Law 2022. They were passed during a plenary presided over by the Speaker, Mr. Oludaisi Elemide, at the Assembly Complex of Kemosan, Abeokuta. The bills were subsequently read and adopted clause by clause before the committee of the whole House, after which the clerk, Mr. Shakiru Adebaki, took the third reading of the bills before the state lawmakers. Mr. Elemide later directed that the clean copies of the bills be forwarded to the State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, for his accent and thereafter to become laws.
The Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, has appealed for peace and unity as the August 15 governorship election in Osun State draws near. This is contained in a statement issued by the senior media officer at the Ooni's Palace, Mr. Sadiq Lawal, on behalf of the Director of Media and Public Affairs, Mr. Moses Olafare. The Oni, represented by the Lower Dimula of Ife land, Oba Dekola Adeyeye, made the appeal when the National Secretary of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, the party's governorship candidate, Mr. Najim Salam, and other party leaders visited him. The Oni reaffirmed his commitment to promoting peaceful coexistence irrespective of political affiliations, describing Ile-Ife as the spiritual and historical cradle of the Yoruba race. He stressed the need for successive governments and political leaders to accord Ile-Ife the attention and development befitting its historical significance. He further appealed to politicians and their supporters to conduct themselves peacefully throughout the electioneering period.
The Yeye Babajiro Odua, Dr. Afolashade Shono Aluko, has extended her heartfelt condolences to the Oni of Ife, Obadeye Ogunwusi, over the death of his elder brother, Prince Adetunji Ogunwusi. In a condolence message, Yeye Shono Aluko described the death as a painful loss not only to the Oni and the entire family of Ogunwusi, but also to the Ile-Ife community, Yoruba race, and Nigeria as a whole. She maintained that the Prince Adetunji Ogunwusi lived a life of humility, honor, and service to humanity despite being from a royal family, adding that his contributions to the growth, development, and unity of his family and Ife would be greatly remembered. Yeye Shono Aluko noted that while death is inevitable, the impact of the late elder brother of Oni Ogunwusi would continue to inspire generations, describing him as a man whose life was filled with compassion, royalty, dignity, commitment, and selfless service to humanity. While praying for the peaceful repose of the soul of the deceased, the Yeye Babajiro Odua expressed hope that God would uphold Oba Ogunwusi and the entire family during this challenging period of mourning and grant them the courage to overcome the grief.
This is the world today, the stories that made the headline. Federal government has cut textbook assessment fees. IBDC debunked update of mandatory prepaid meters vending. Still to come, US plans to announce nuclear agreement with Saudi Arabia. Venezuela's ousted leader set to appear in US court. Details shortly.
Thank you for staying tuned. You're still on to the world today, reaching you on the Southwest Network of Radio Nigeria. As we now move to the foreign stories. The United States plans to announce an agreement with Saudi Arabia that will give the country a civilian nuclear program amid renewed fighting between the Gulf oil giant and Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. Report says the Trump administration plans to formally sign and announce the deal with the Houthis. President Donald Trump's administration said the deal will provide billions of dollars for U.S. nuclear industry. A provision in the deal, which would last 30 years, would have American companies build a uranium enrichment facility in Saudi Arabia if a joint study determines it is warranted. The deal is expected to be submitted to Congress in the coming days, but their approval is not required for it to go through.
Venezuela's ousted president Nicolas Maduro is set to appear before a New York court, his third public hearing since the U.S. military captured him in a stunning nighttime raid in January. The former leader and his wife Celia Flores had been held in a Brooklyn jail since the U.S. military operation, awaiting trial on drug trafficking, firearms, and other charges. Report says today's hearing is expected to focus on procedural matters. After a standoff, the United States in April allowed Venezuela to pay for Maduro's and Flores' legal defense. The Maduros had sought to have their cases dismissed on grounds that blocking the funding violated the U.S. Constitution's right to counsel of one's choice.
Japan has experienced its first Kokushobi, or cruelly hot day, as temperatures in parts of the country climbed past 40 degrees Celsius. The term is introduced in April by the country's weather agency to describe days when temperatures reach 40 degrees Celsius with the aim of effectively warning the public about dangerous heat. Yesterday, temperatures in 3 central Japanese cities of Tajami, Jo, and Toyoda hit that threshold. According to Japan's meteorological agency, the heat is expected to continue into next week. This comes as extreme weather events like heat waves are becoming more intense around the world. Last year, Japan saw its highest ever temperature of 41.8 degrees Celsius in the city of Ikesaki. Japan already has terms for days over 25 degrees Celsius, 30 degrees Celsius, and 35 degrees Celsius.
The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has appointed a new Joint Forces Commander, Mikhailo Tripati, to replace former Soviet-trained Army Chief Alexander Shyrsky. The change in the security leadership position, according to Zelensky, followed a political crisis triggered by the removal of the popular, young and tech-savvy defense minister. Protests had erupted in support of ousted Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov, who accused Shyrsky of forcing him out and stalling his attempt to reform the military. Shyrsky, 60, had served in the role since 2024 and was among Kiev's most experienced commanders, having led the defense of Kiev at the start of Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022.
Restoring public trust in governance in Nigeria forms the basis of today's Heart of the Matter. It is written by Funmilola Obagbayegun of our Current Affairs Unit.
Trust is the bedrock of every successful democracy, as it gives citizens the confidence that those elected or appointed into public offices will serve the people with honesty, fairness, and integrity. Unfortunately, public trust in governance in Nigeria has been weakened over the years by persistent concerns over corruption, insecurity, poor service delivery, economic hardship, and the perceived lack of accountability in some public institutions. When people lose confidence in government, they become less willing to participate in democratic processes, comply with government policies, or support development programs. No doubt, this weakens the expected bond between the government and the people, which thereby slows national development. For citizens to rebuild that trust, it requires sincere commitment and consistent action. Transparency and accountability must become the guiding principles of governance. Government policies, programs, budgets, and public spending should be open to scrutiny, while anti-corruption agencies like the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) must be allowed to investigate and prosecute offenders without fear of favor. Equally important is effective service delivery. Citizens are more likely to trust government when they experience improvements in education, healthcare, infrastructure, electricity supply, security, and other critical sectors of the nation's economy. It behooves the government to formulate public policies that would produce visible results that improve the daily lives of Nigerians. The challenge of insecurity in the country also demands urgent and sustained attention. Government at all levels must continue to strengthen security institutions, improve intelligence gathering, and work closely with communities to tackle terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and other forms of criminality. Public office should be seen as a sacred responsibility and not as a privilege. Those entrusted with leadership positions must demonstrate integrity, humility, and responsiveness. They should engage regularly with citizens, communicate government policies clearly to the people, listen to genuine concerns, and welcome constructive criticisms that will benefit the nation. The judiciary, legislature, and other oversight institutions also have crucial roles to play. By upholding the rule of law, ensuring timely justice, and providing effective oversight of public resources, they strengthen confidence in democratic institutions. Meanwhile, citizens also have roles to play as they are to hold leaders accountable without disobeying the law, pay taxes regularly, participate peacefully in the democratic process, and contribute positively to national development. Civil society organizations, CSOs, the media, and community leaders must continue to promote transparency, good governance, and civic responsibility. Nigeria is richly blessed with abundant human and natural resources. What is needed is a governance system built on honesty, accountability, inclusiveness, and effective leadership. As Nigeria continues its democratic journey, restoring public trust in governance must remain a national priority. A government that enjoys the confidence of its people is better positioned to promote peace, attract investment, strengthen institutions, and deliver sustainable development for both present and future generations.
That script on restoring public trust in governance in Nigeria was written by Fumilolo Bagbayegun of our Current Affairs Unit and read by Feyi Shara Uwumoyela.
And how to feature. Have you heard of a tribe that growing into manhood requires the bull jumping ceremony? Let's join Amelia Ojemudia for details.
The Hama tribe of Ethiopia is a tribe that boys do not become men by age, but by ritual trial. It is called the bull jumping ceremony or trial. The boy strips completely naked, runs, and must leap onto the back of a bull. Not just one bull, but several bulls lined up, pulled closely together by older men gripping horns and tails. He runs across their back, and if he falls, he fails. If he succeeds, he becomes a man in the eyes of his tribe. Meanwhile, the men of Hama style their hair with red clay and ostrich feathers, symbols of bravery and successful hunts. It is dangerous, it is frightening, but for the Hama, it is the only way to cross into manhood.
That feature on Hama tribe bull jumping was written by Lillian Ibomo.
That's indeed very dangerous. Well, to end the news on the world today from the stable of Radio Nigeria, here again are the day's top stories. The Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council has reduced the cost of textbook assessment and ranking, directing that publishers who paid the previous higher assessment fees be refunded in a move aimed at easing the financial burden of stakeholders ahead of the implementation of the federal government's national textbook ranking system. The Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, IBDC, has debunked a viral information about mandatory prepaid meters update and vending, requiring customers to purchase electricity token within a specified period. The United States plans to announce an agreement with Saudi Arabia that will give the country a civilian nuclear program amid renewed fighting between the Gulf oil giant and Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. And we also brought to you that Venezuela's hosted President Nicolas Maduro is set to appear before a New York court, his third public hearing since the U.S. military captured him in a stunning nighttime raid in January.
And that's it on The World Today. Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition of the program. Modupe Toba edited. My name is Stephen Agbaje from my colleague
Olubukola Enimola. Thank you for staying tuned and enjoy the rest of your day.
Do have a pleasant one.